Well, there you are. Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means that we're going to be talking a skill set. And today we're going to be talking a bit more about making friends. Almost guaranteed you will make friends if you follow some of the things we're going to talk about today. So the first thing I want to do is to welcome all of you. And those of you who are regulars, you all know the rules, but you'll forgive me if I just make sure that everybody else knows as well. We encourage everybody to join in, but you don't need to. If you're happy just listening along or watching along, whatever it is that you're doing, you go right ahead. If you do join in, I may ask you whether you want me to repeat stuff. And the reason I say that is because sometimes people forget that what you write, I will repeat. And then it goes on to the replay later in the day. So, the regulars know that, and they know if you don't, if they don't want me to repeat it, they'll put "don't repeat" on there. So it's just to give me a heads up. Hi, Jerry. And so the thing is that if you're new, you might not know that, and we want to make sure that we've got you, protected in that way. The other thing is, if you click on the subscribe button or the bell or whatever down here, what will happen is that when we're going live, it will give you a warning. And if you would like that, then that's the thing to do. All right. I just wanted to start today with one little thing before we get on to the friendship thing. I have a feeling that about now, some of you may be getting concerned about the coronavirus. And if you're saying, what is that? Then you're obviously not concerned about it. But for those of you who are, I know that it's scary. And I know that if you have a compromised immune system, that will probably be scarier still. However, I do want to say that at this moment, the regular flu is 10 times more dangerous. When I say that, 10 times more people are dying from the regular flu than from the coronavirus at the moment. And, whilst it is becoming a pandemic, and that means that it's worldwide, at the moment, unless you are really putting yourself at risk, you should be fine. And so I would recommend, if you want to be overly cautious, do the same as everybody else is doing. Stay away from large crowds. But, you can go shopping at the local market and not know who's there. So it's like, what can I say? It's a juggling game. You can be overly protective, or you can just live your life and hope that your number is not on that bullet. All right, so hi there, Sandy. Did Jody do a good job there? I think she did. Welcome to you. So the skills today are about making friends. And the reason I decided that I would talk about that today is because I've had two groups of friends come to visit me, or two different times friends came to visit me this week. One obviously was Benji. Hi, Charlotte. One was Benji, and the other was my friends, the realtors, who helped me find this place. So, and what I noticed is they both have very similar skills. And what I thought I would do is I would talk to some of them, all right? And when I say talk to some of them, but I would talk to you about it. But the first thing I want to know from you guys is, have any of you ever made friends online? Be it here within DearMamaSal or on some other system. Have you made friends online? And if so, what I want to do is, as we get onto each category of this, perhaps you could give me your input as to, does this relate to making online friends? And I often hear, well, online friends are not real friends. Really? I don't know about the rest of you, but I've made some pretty awesome online friends in my time. So be it. Right. And, and Charlotte's saying, yes, she has. And also one of them became a problem. Charlotte, that's life. All right. You can make real life friends and have one of them become a problem. So, unfortunately, that is life. All right. So, um, the main thing is, do you know how to deal with it? You see, that's the whole thing. It is life that you will get haters. It is life that you will get criticism. It is life that you will have people who don't agree with you. The question that we have is, do you know how to deal with it? And, if you do, then your life will be pretty happy. If you don't, you will have a pretty sad life. And that's why we keep doing the skills broadcast. What I wanted to do, I'm not aware of any birthdays this week. Am I incorrect in that? If any of you know of any birthdays this week, please let me know. Jody's saying, of course, online friends are real friends. Yeah, but Jody, I quite often hear that, that it's not the same. And I'm going, really? It's not my experience. All right, so let us start with this one. There we go. Charlotte saying, I became better, not bitter. Yeah, that is the trick. Remember what the Obamas said, when they got haters, they went higher, not lower. And this is the whole thing. It's not about getting higher than anybody. It's about rise above it, right? Show people that you are capable of rising above it. By the way, I know this is going to sound really strange, but I think I've changed shape. I was looking at it and I'm going, I think I'm beginning to get my shape back. Have you noticed this? Now, I know that this is really nicely designed to show that in some way, but I'm going, wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, but this is a tight fitting top, and I was, yeah, so something's going in the right direction. It's not showing necessarily on the scale to, well, what am I saying? 15 pounds later. Yes, it is. All right. So here's the first one. The first one is, when you made friends online, did you criticize them? I know this is a mind-blowing concept, but was your memory that you criticized them a lot and that's how you made friends? Because what I noticed with the friends that came to visit me is that they didn't criticize me. All right. They were oohed and awed at my new house, and they brought me gifts. It's going to be a good thing. What else did they do? Well, I'll talk about that as we go through. But the one thing is that I wasn't aware of any criticism. So, hi, Ayub. Good to see you there. Welcome back. Big hugs. So, here is the thing. If we know that, how do you like to be criticized? I mean, I do. You go, oh, goody, somebody's criticizing me. Or let me ask you, when you get criticized, how does it feel? That's what I want to know. How does it feel when somebody criticizes you? Now, the reason I want you to think about that is because there are two levels of criticism, I believe. And the question is, where is it criticism versus where is it genuine input that you asked for? I had that happen this week where one of my sons phoned me because he was doing an interview. And he, the discussion we had last week about how do you stop the drama, he asked for my opinion on something, and I gave it to him, which was contrary to the answer he wanted. And then he started on the yes, but, da, 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 da. And as soon as I heard the yes, but, I started to chuckle because, we talked about that. It's one of the things to tell you somebody's trying to manipulate your next answer. So I listened for quite a while, and then when he'd finished, I said, but you asked for my opinion and I gave it. And then guess what? Yes, but da, 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 da. And I went, wait, no. You asked for my opinion and I gave it. The fact that you might not like it is okay with me, and you don't have to react on it. You just needed to, you asked for my opinion and I gave it. And it was amazing how well that worked. I didn't criticize him. I just told him what I thought. There's a difference. All right, so Charlotte's saying when somebody criticizes her, she turns inward. I don't feel good or like myself or think my input is needed. Well, the truth is, you do understand, Charlotte, that you do that to yourself, right? Yeah, and I just want to make sure that you understand that now, because you've grown so much. I'm pretty sure you know that now. That if when somebody criticizes you, that you go inward and fester and feel badly. That's what you do with the information you got. You see, I always give that example, um, Charlotte, where if somebody said, "Oh, you're a car," you wouldn't go around going vroom, 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 right? You just go, you know. And when somebody gives you their criticism, you go, "Thank you for your opinion." Right? You don't have to take it in and fester with it. All right. And for Charlotte, she's saying it's overload for her. Right? And you're working on it, Charlotte, and it'll get easier. I promise you that. You keep working on your stuff the way that you are, you will find that it gets easier. It's never going to be pleasant when people criticize you, but it's going to get easier to handle. And I guarantee you that if you keep doing the work. So the one thing is, if you know you do not like to be criticized, be careful about criticizing other people, right? That would be pretty obvious input, I think. All right, let's move on to the next one. How about this one? Did you, when you make friends here, genuinely appreciate somebody and tell them that? Think about that. Did you go, "Oh, Jody, that is so clever," or "Thank you for that, Jody"? Did you feel, I mean, by the way, Jody is amazing to watch online, right? For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she's my second brain, and she picks up on stuff for us and reminds me to do things and so forth. But also, she is our welcoming section here on the chat, and she does a great job. All right, so Charlotte's saying, I tried to take the high road and got a no trespassing order slapped upon me. Yeah, that's by whom? Who slapped the no trespassing order? I mean, you mean a legal one? Because those are pretty volatile words. So you're not allowed into that particular Starbucks? Okay. I can't comment on that because I don't know what you said. But whatever you said, they must have thought. All right. You're saying you didn't do anything bad. She's a bully. Okay. So that's a judgment. And it's funny, we're into Lent now, and I believe that the Pope said that one of the things we can all work on for Lent is, to try not to, speak badly of other people. So you understand, Charlotte, her stuff. If you know you didn't do anything bad, then that is her stuff. And sometimes these things happen like this? You bet. I assure you that there are an awful lot of single husbands out there who've had that sort of thing slapped on them, and they're still shaking their heads going, I don't know why. Right. So Charlotte's saying she's gone down the hill a bit. She's gone down the hill in terms of which Starbucks she uses, and apparently that person has bullied other people. Yeah, and one day they're going to realize that they've got a problem that they're not attending to. All right. So let's go back to the next good one. How many of you appreciate sincere appreciation? Sincere appreciation. And I wanted to give you a couple of examples of that. When I was cooking dinner for my friends, the realtors, Don, her husband, Patty's husband, said to me, "Wow, I have not tasted beef like this since I went to the old English da 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 da." Now, you know, did I think it was sincere? Actually, the way he said it, I was quite surprised. I did. And then maybe 10 minutes later, Patty, who is known to eat like a bird, she doesn't eat a lot, she suddenly said, "I don't normally do this, Sal, but do you think I could have more of that beef? Because it is so good." And I went, "Sure, be my guest." So did I think it was sincere? Yes. And then they asked me how I did it. And I said, it was so difficult, really. It was really, really difficult. I said, I turned on the slow cooker. I threw in half an onion chopped up. I threw in some Dijon mustard, some, what do you call it? Balsamic vinegar, a little bit of beef seasoning and a cup of water, maybe two. And it was just like, and I said, and I put the lid on. Wait, I did more. I did do more. About every hour and I turned it over. And then I took it out and I actually carved it. And they said, that's all you did is you cooked it in the slow cooker? And I said, yeah. Well, I want to tell you, it did taste really good. But what tasted really good was, the way that a slow cooker permeates those flavors into the beef. And so it was just like, yeah, it was really difficult. So I thought that was really interesting. I did the opposite to Benji, which is when Benji went to China. You remember when he went to China? And by the way, you all know now that the reason he was in China was to work on the robe thing. But he brought me back this incredible bottle of wine. And if you look at the back, right now, one thing Benji knows, it's all written in Chinese. One thing Benji knows is I love a good wine. I love a good champagne, but I also really love a good wine. And this is, I want to tell you, this one, incredible bottle of wine. And Benji was obviously driving, so he had, half a glass with his meal. But the funny thing was, I kept saying to him, is there more in that bottle? Because I'd really like some more of that. Now, I want to tell you, normally when I drink wine with a meal, I'll have half a glass, and that's probably it. This one, I probably had, half the bottle. Now, was that a compliment back to Benji that he picked a good wine? All right. So he just kept chuckling and saying, I had a feeling you'd like this one. And I did. So let's give honest, sincere appreciation. You see, they say, or Dr. Dewey says, that the deepest urge of human nature is the desire to be important. Okay. So did I make sure that Benji knew that this was not only a precious bottle of wine, I kept it until he came to visit me and drink it with me. And I didn't wasted on other people. I waited until he came to open it. And did he know that I really appreciated how good that bottle of wine was? Because it was. And so, small things, right? Now then, how many of you, when you've made friends online, have been able to see another person's point of view? How many of you have watched when we've been together, even in here in Dear Mama Sal, and you've had one opinion, and then maybe Charlotte comes in with a different one, or Jody makes a comment about something, or whoever it is that comes in, maybe it was Beth, or maybe it was myself, and we say something that is different. How many of you have noticed that when it's amongst friends, it is easier to change your position? Do you know what I mean? That you're not in a fight all the time, all right? That what you can hear is another person's point of view. And it's one of the reasons, by the way, that I took off, I came away from what I call the open forum type platforms where everybody could get on camera and everybody could say what they wanted to say. You see, I found that people are more thoughtful when they're typing it. Yeah, it's interesting that Charlotte's saying that, Ozzy comes to mind. Now, for those of you who don't know who Oz is, he is somebody whose very name causes people to start laughing. And the reason that we do is because he's got to be one of the funniest characters out there. However, he has a very biting, very rude sense of humor. He's an Australian, obviously, with a name like Ozzy. But the interesting thing is, if you actually get to know him, which I did, he's actually so far away from that in real life. When you talk to him as a human being, he still has a great sense of humor, but he's actually a very gentle, kind soul. So he's got this persona that he puts on, to when he gets onto a broadcast site. And I'm pretty sure that he probably does it when he's out with the boys as well. You know what I mean? It's just part of his personality. But, when you actually get to know him, he's a really good person. But the point of this lesson is to get to the other person's point of view, right? To see things from their angle. Do you remember the day that I said of Lauren, you may want to wheel yourself, onto a scale and see how much you weigh. And, it was really interesting because one of the viewers reacted very strongly and said to me, how could I be so rude and and all that sort of stuff. And it was a viewer that I was quite surprised about. But, I didn't take it personally because what did I realize? She didn't know what I knew. She didn't know that Lauren was in a wheelchair, and the only way she can weigh herself is to wheel herself onto a scale. Literally, what I said was 100% the truth. Hi, Chloe. Good to see you. So you understand that, right? That's the only way she can weigh herself is to roll herself onto a scale. So I wasn't being rude. I was being perfectly honest. Now, suddenly that viewer who had made that comment thinking that I was so rude needed to change their thinking. It wasn't that I was rude. I was informed. There's a difference. All right? So how many of you know that when you can see things from the other person's point of view, how many of you remember the story that I had about the mover and the quote? All right? That I got given a quote. The quote came in 3 times as, the actual bill came in 3 times as much. And the person here just said, get over it, pay the bill. And I said, no, that's not right. And these are the factual reasons why that is not right. It wasn't I was being cheap. It was I was given a very bad estimate. And I was upset about that. And I had every right to be upset. And as long as this person here stuck to this is what it cost us, this is what you'll pay, I was prepared, quite honestly, to take it as far as it needed to go. I was that angry about it. Not angry that it spoilt my day, but just, that's not right. Intellectually, that is not right. The interesting thing, when they came back with an option of saving me about $800, I said, fine, that's good. I'll take the deal. Put it through. I didn't even discuss it. I just saw what they offered. The CEO wrote to me, and I saw what the CEO offered me, and I went, that's fair enough. Why was it fair? Because it was fair that they did work very long hours, and I know they had to pay a lot of people a lot of money, but I also felt that, it was more balanced. And so this was about, I could see it from their point of view as well as mine, right? I know that they spent a lot of money paying people, the moving guys. So if I couldn't see both sides of that story, I wouldn't have settled where I did. Make sense? And so to my mind, it's about, this is what needs to happen here. All right. So try and see things from both sides. And I'm pretty sure that when you've been in here, one of the reasons that DearMamaSal will help people improve their skills is because we're constantly talking about things over and over again from different angles, all right? So you're getting other people's points of view. You'll hear Charlotte's issue with the person who was rude to her. And she's saying she paid the price. This person was a control freak and ended up, putting some sort of restraint order on her. But, quite honestly, Charlotte has the choice to go down the hill and still get a Starbucks, but you do it at a different one. So, but we also, Charlotte, and unless we were there to hear both sides of the story, none of us can judge that, right? It's just like we have your side of it and we don't have her side of it. So it is something that we have to sort of just go, what? We know Charlotte pretty well, and and it's like, okay, if she has been rude to other people, then she's going to pay the price eventually, hopefully. So see the other person's point of view. And Charlotte, the day that you can actually see hers, that she is insecure or whatever, or a control freak or whatever it is, when you can see that and just go, hey, that's okay, I paid the price of a damaged person. Yeah, and Charlotte's saying that she actually chose not to go to Starbucks unless it's the only coffee shop around. Yeah, that would affect you. That would affect you. All right. It's like, I'll buy coffee anywhere rather than Starbucks if necessary. Ah, okay. There you go, Charlotte. And Charlotte's saying, oh, I saw it. She was overwhelmed and it was Pride weekend. Yeah. So, this was like totally overloaded and it happens. So, and unfortunately, she didn't have enough brain cells left to be able to see it from your perspective. And, sad. How about this one? Do you find that when you make friends or when you want to be friends with somebody, it's because they appear to be genuinely interested in you? Let me get some feedback on that. How many of you have made friends online and the reason is they seem to be genuinely interested in you? Hi, Tanika. Good to see you. All right. And so my question is, what did they do to make you feel that they were genuinely interested? Because it is a skill. And if you are genuinely interested in people, it does attract people towards you. Yeah, and so what I want to know is, what did you experience, because you all must have had it, What did you experience that made you feel that somebody was genuinely interested in you? Let's get some feedback on that. Because that one skill, the ability to have people feel that you are genuinely interested, is an unbelievably good skill. Now, I say make them believe that. There's some people that can pretend to be genuinely interested. So maybe we need to talk about that as well. How can you tell when it's genuine as opposed to this is what I believe I should do? All right, so Charlotte's saying they shared in a similar experience. We both ran and encouraged each other to the finish line. Yes. All right, so Tanika's saying for her, it's even more simple. Hey, Daisy's responding. All right, and the interaction helps them believe that they're genuinely interested. All right, so that's awesome. You're very easy to please, Tanika. So if you want to attract friends to you, then remember to be genuinely interested. All right. I always remember when I was doing December one year, I was busy typing away, and one of the viewers asked me if I could find out from Judy where she got the top she was wearing. And like in the middle of December, it's like, and it was so funny because I literally got up from where I was. I walked all the way until I could get next to Judy. Then I waited for a gap, for a commercial to come on or whatever. And then I said, I've got a viewer who wants to know where you got your top. And Judy told me. And I said, thanks, honey. And I went back and I sat down and said, okay, Frida, or whatever her name is, Jody just told me that she got the top at wherever it was. Now, did that tell that viewer that I genuinely was interested in helping them? Think about that. All right, Jody's saying, I've noticed about my closest friends is they keep asking questions to get to know my likes and dislikes. They also remember some of the details I give about myself and then use them in conversation. Right. And that tells them that they heard you. And one of the things I always said to Benji when I first met him is if you want people to feel that you genuinely care about them, take notes. All right, take notes. In other words, when you hear, that Sal doesn't drink wine very often, but when she does, she really likes a good Bordeaux, or something, take a note. Benji, one year, I was talking to him and he took a note, and come my birthday or whatever it was, he gave me a bottle of my perfume. Now, my perfume is not easy to find. And he had taken a note as to what it is. He'd taken a picture of the bottle so he knew what the bottle looked like. And the next time he went through duty free, he found it and he bought me a bottle. Interesting, right? Did that tell me he cared? Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but let me just read a couple of comments first. Hang on one second. I need to scroll back a bit here. All right, so all right, so Sandy's saying that was about what I did to help that viewer. You went out of your way to help them. Yes. I didn't discount that question. If I was capable of answering it, I would. By the way, how many of you have noticed that if you ask a question during the broadcast and I cannot answer it immediately, I will ask Jody to remind me, and then I will go and find out the answer if I can, and then privately send the answer to the viewer. Right? Why? Because I believe that they care. Now, do some viewers ask me questions they could just as easily find from, Professor Google? Yeah, never mind. All right, so interesting. Charlotte saying, set boundaries, set them from the start. Don't waver and be true to you. You'll feel better and open to discover things about others. Yeah, I'm pretty good about this is the way that we behave here as a group of people. All right, I try to make sure that we don't allow, negative chat to people, and so forth as far as possible. Because it's like I know what it feels like, but on the other hand, have I hit a couple of people with the 2x4? But if you notice, I will ask permission first. Now, a 2x4, but for those of you who are not regular viewers, is when I hear somebody that's BSing themselves in some way. And then I will ask them permission to use a 2x4. And that means I'm going to say something that I think you may not appreciate, at the moment, but you need to look at. That's so kind. Thank you, Tanika. That's so kind of you. Very happy Friday. She just contributed to the program. Thank you. Hi, Magdalene. Welcome. Right. And so Charlotte's saying the difference is there's constructive and criticism. But what I've discovered, though, Charlotte, and I've got to say this, and maybe some of you agree with this, that constructive criticism, it could be what you're intending when you say it, but it's not necessarily what the other person hears. They hear criticism, not necessarily constructive. All right, so Magdalena is talking about my nails, and they are mine because I broke these when I was moving. Yeah, it's all in the perception. Absolutely, yeah. So here's the thing. All right, so somebody asked me, what's the perfume? I first used Paloma Picasso's original perfume when she brought it out, and I think that was in the 70s. I tried it, and it so suited me. I'd been using Paco Rabanne, funny enough, up until then for a while, but I just loved this original Paloma Picasso. And it's got a very distinctive bottle. Hold on, I'll show you. Well, it's really interesting. I keep it in a particular place and it's not there. So I will find it. The bottle is unique, yes. It's got a black all the way around the outside of it. It's oval shaped. And then the perfume is captured in glass in the center of it. So it's like a teardrop like that, but the outside is all black. And then the glass is on the inside holding the amber, what do you call it? The amber perfume. So anyway, that was, one thing. Now, the other thing that happened that told me, hi, Julie. The other thing that I found was I was busy on tour when we were doing Dance Samba once, and Judy walked in with a pair of those Uggs, they're the knitted ones. And I just thought they were so cool. And I'm going, Judy, they are so way cool, those Uggs. Next Christmas, guess what I got? My Uggs. So to me, oh, and I don't know how she found out my size, but they found out what size shoes I wore, and they gave me a pair of Uggs, and it was just like, and some of you probably remember when I opened them up, I was so excited. It was just like, now I don't wear them a lot, but when I do, how I feel the love, all right, because I know that they very quietly took a mental note, then must have made a written note. And then, got me a pair of Uggs. So do they do little things that make me know they love me? Yeah. And it's not just about presents, don't get me wrong about that. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is if for example, that my one friend doesn't like pineapple, when I serve a meal, I'll go, pineapples didn't come anywhere near this food that I'm aware of. And they'll just smile. Why? Because they know I made a note about the fact they don't like pineapple. If you remember when I went to Doug's for Christmas, all right, one of the things that he did is he served every one of the guests for the Christmas meal the food that they enjoyed and not the food that they couldn't eat. And what made that so amazing was there were 6 of us, and I think we all had issues. 2 of them were vegan in pretty different degrees. I was allergic to garlic, and I am pre-diabetic, so I've got to be a little bit careful on that scale, which is why I got that super duper steak. And literally everybody, there were all these different sort of meals around, and I just said to Doug, that is amazing that you did that. And he looked at me like I was some sort of idiot and said, but you taught me that. And I went, oh yeah, I did. All right. So be genuinely interested in people. But if you want to be really genuinely interested, keep notes. All right. Because there is no way you're going to remember. And back your notes up would be another idea. Now, how many of you know that a smile is a pretty important part of making friends? So I'm going to give you different sorts of smiles, and you decide how you react to them. All right. I want you to feel the difference. If I smile, or you see, different smiles communicate different things. All right. So Charlotte's saying, I'm known for my smile. And I'm not sure what that second part of the sentence means, Charlotte, so I'm not going to repeat that because I'm not quite understanding it. And then she also said, when I'm having a day, others know to ask how I'm feeling. Oh, more often than not. Okay. But others know to ask how I'm feeling. Why wouldn't you just tell them? All right. So what Charlotte's saying is she's known for having a big smile. So if she's not smiling, people know something's wrong. Yeah, you laugh about that because, oh, I laugh about it because I can remember when I was in my 20s, and I've always been a talker, obviously. And one of the things I knew, if ever I wanted to have a day off, I just went to work and I didn't talk to anybody. You know, you can be sure within 30 minutes people were talking about what's wrong with Sal. And I would just sit and work and not talk to anybody, and within an hour they'd be telling me to go home, and I did. So Charlotte's saying because when they see her and she's not smiling, they know something's off. Yeah, that's true. So, but the point is, if you want to make a friend, smile. All right, so Tanika's saying, FYI, I'm leaving work. I'm here, but I can't comment. I'll comment on the saved video. Have an awesome weekend. You too, Tanika. Thank you for being here. And I know you're here. Thank you, Tanika. I appreciate that. All right, so remember, your smile is really important. Now then, how many of you know I do try to work pretty hard at remembering people's names, and I struggle a bit more about where they live, right? For some reason, it takes me a while to connect this name to this town or this state or this province in Canada, but I do get there eventually if you're around enough. Okay, so Charlotte says your smile is like a calling card. It can be contagious. Yes. And the same way as we said that Ozzy's name makes people smile. Isn't that interesting? Just his name will make people smile. In fact, just his name will make people laugh insanely. That is our memory of him, right? And it's said that remember that a man or woman's name is to him or her the sweetest and most important sound in the English language. Would you agree with it? That your name, when somebody bothers to use your name, one of the things that I taught Benji and all the sons that I met through leadership training, one of the things that I said to them all is remember what people want to be called, not their name, what they want to be called. Because if you have my friend Patty, right? If you spell her name incorrectly with an I instead of a Y, that will upset her. Make sense? Now, for example, when she was here on earlier this week for dinner, at one stage, 2 stages, I called her Patricia. Right? And her reaction when I did was suitable. And why? Because I was giving her a heads up on something, and it was just like, Patricia? And she burst out laughing, and she said, Sal, you are the only person I know that can do that switch that well. It was just like, because that's what her mommy used to do. And that's right. And it's the same thing as, you got to know the context of things, right? And so take notes if you can on how, not only their name, but how they, maybe I prefer to be called Sal, not Sally. Picky little thing. But when you're talking to me, it makes a difference, because if you call me Sally, I start acting like Sally used to. Sally wasn't nearly as much fun in some ways. In some ways, she was actually a lot more fun because, never mind. How about this one? Do you find that people online listen? Now, that's an interesting thing, right? And it's like, how can they listen? Because it is a medium that is about communication. But what is it that you appreciate in other people about their ability to listen? Let's get some feedback on that. Now, I think Jody said that she appreciated when her friends listened to her stories and fed them back to her. All right, in day-to-day conversation. So that is an interesting one. All right. So if you want people to know that you care, listen carefully to what they tell you. And if you can't remember, I actually had it happen when I was at the coffee meeting on Monday, and somebody told me something, and I took out my day timer and I wrote a note, and it was the person's name and their unit number here, because we all got these little house numbers, and their house number, and then something that they told me. And the person next to me said, "You take notes?" And I went, "Yeah, how else would I remember?" Now, when I went to the lunch that you're going to hear about on the vlog when I edit it, quite a story. When I went to the lunch, I was facing the lady who sat beside me before and didn't talk to me. And guess what? I didn't know her name because she never talked to me. So her name didn't register. But next to her sat a lady that I had met the previous week at the coffee thing. And I just looked at her and I said, let me think here. I think it's Shirley. And it was. I was so happy. And if you could have seen her look on her face, you knew that she appreciated the fact that I registered her name in my mind. I'd managed to link the name and the face. And then I looked at the lady who'd been sitting next to me and I said, I know you sat next to me at the Valentine's dinner. And I am so sorry, but I cannot remember your name. Please forgive me. And she told me again. And this time I said, this time I need to remember it because now this is important. This is going to be important next time I meet her. Yeah, you see, and I think that's a good thing, Julie. When Julie's saying, I have a friend who says, you said, da 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 da, and then I realized that she had listened. Yeah. So that is the whole thing that and also it helps you with people's personality. If you listen, you can hear what makes people tick. Right? By the way, somebody made a comment about the silence earlier. How many of you know that everybody's got a communication routine sort of going on? And how many of you, if they fall out of that routine, it's sort of like a red flag to you, you go, what happened? They normally get up in the morning and they normally say hi by this time. And so if they haven't said hi by 3 hours after that time, you start to go, where's my coffee, people? Hang on, a joke's a joke. I love you dearly, but I need to put the coffee on. Okay, step one, done. We'll wait for it to do. So what I found is that I also am aware of people's routines. And if they are daily people who contact me and they haven't contacted me by a certain time, I'll start sending messages. We had a wonderful example of that this week where Beth accidentally, we have a group called the fitness group where we actually are accountable for our fitness. And Beth suddenly dropped off the fitness group. And Jilly's saying, no sugar in mine. I don't have sugar, Jilly. Well, actually, I do, but I hide it. I've got stevia and I've got a brown sugar and stevia mix. Which would you prefer? And I'm making latte, if that's okay, Jilly. You see it flashing? I'm going to get my coffee. Another step forward. What was I saying? Oh, quiet. It was about the quiet. Yeah, so Beth, thank you so much. Yes. So Beth accidentally, I thought, as one of the viewers, Jody, I think, told me, have you noticed that, in fact, two viewers told me that Beth had dropped away from the fitness group that we have. And so what I did is I just very quietly wrote to her, but I didn't presume that she had done it accidentally. What I said to her was, I noticed that you have left the fitness group, and if you meant to do that, I am totally okay, and I respect that. However, if you pocket dialed yourself out of the fitness group, please let me know so I can pop you back in again. And the reason was because she's done it before. Yeah, and guess what? She wrote back and said, "Oh my goodness, I did it by accident." And I said, "Yeah, that's what we thought." And so I put her back in again. But do you understand? It wasn't normal. Beth's not the sort of person to just cut and run. All right, she would talk to us about it if she wanted to leave the group. That is, we all know that of her. Right, Jody? So the fitness group knows Beth's routines and the way she does things enough to know if she suddenly cut out of the fitness group without saying anything, the chances are she hit the wrong button. And that's what it was. Copy. And there we go. 1 cup of latte. So I'm pretty certain that you've got friends that you know their routines, and if they suddenly did something like that, seek first to understand, right? So if you are a good listener and you encourage other people to talk about themselves, then you will learn things about them and their routines, and you'll be able to be a better friend. So let's take a moment and say, what is it about your friends that you appreciate? All right. What is it that they do that makes them a special friend to you? One of the things, by the way, that I talked to Benji about is because, what do you buy the guy who's got everything? All right. And as you know, Benji, uh, really doesn't want for a whole lot in his life. Nor does he want a whole lot in his life. You know what I mean? It's an interesting dynamic. And I said to him this time, I said, Benj, for those of us who love you, it's getting difficult to buy you anything that says we care. So I need you to think very carefully on this one, which is what, you know, what would tell you that I care, because, it's getting so difficult to get anything. Um, Actually, I made one really good call. When they got the new house, I knew he'd probably have a new barbecue, which he did. And I bought him, one of those fancy stainless steel barbecue sets. And I must admit, he still uses it today. So I know it was a good thing to buy him. So it's sort of like, what do I buy you now? Nothing. And I go, no, that's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing, because that stops me from being able to tell you I love you in a certain way. And, I had to remind him that it's okay for me to buy him things if they're things that he will appreciate. I must admit that he was good enough to give me, you know, all right, so Jody's saying, that her friends, they care about making her laugh. And I like to do the same for them. Isn't that nice, right? Living in chronic pain made my ability to laugh paramount in my life. It's so endearing that they care if I smile. Yeah, and by the way, it's very easy to make Jody laugh. It's not rocket science at all. And you'll see me every now and then. For those of you, you'll hear me say mission accomplished. One of the things I do, in fact, I actually don't even have to think about it. I just am me, and every now and then I know that will have made Jody laugh, right? And so I will just type MA, means mission accomplished. Some of you noticed when I was doing those funny verbal noises when I was doing a vlog, yesterday's vlog, I think, or the one before, I could hear Jody do that again. I could hear her saying that. Why? Because I know it would make her laugh. And so if you noticed in the vlog, I said, yeah, I know somebody who needs this again. And here you go, Jody. And I made the noise again because I was pretty darn sure that it would make her smile. Does that make sense? So does that make her feel important? Jody's saying Sal reads my mind. Yeah, it's not difficult. There are only 2 souls in there. And I can count to 2 still. But what I want you to do is to be more aware. You see, if you know what it feels like for you, then do it for other people. That's the point that I'm making. By the way, I want to really give Jody a big thank you and heads up and hands up, because she really is taken on a lot of the research for the vlog, for the skills broadcasts that we do. And I really thank her for that. And she, I will pick a topic and I will find something that I want to talk around. And then Jody will put all the bits in for me so that I can do the broadcasts without having to spend as much time. Isn't that kind of her? Jody's going, I'll answer that. Yeah, it makes me feel important. Yeah. Jody says all 2 cells fighting for life. Yeah. I cannot tell you, Jody, since you started that 2 soul thing, because it was Jody's to start with, I seem to remember. I use it a lot. I was using it at the luncheon the other day, where never mind, I'll explain it all in the vlog. So what I'm hoping here is that you can see, if you want to know what it takes to make friends, think about why the friends that you have got are your friends. How did you meet them? Did you leave the front door and actually go out into humanity? Because I'm amazed how many people do not leave their front door and say, I don't have any friends. And I'm going, wait, did you think they were going to be lined up outside your front door? You actually do need to go out. Now, today with the internet, a lot of people make friends on the internet, and I understand that. But think about it. How did you meet the friends? That little bit of air is going to drive. Hang on. No. Do you like no or worse? Okay, we'll cover it up better. All right. So how did you make the friends that you've got? All right. That's what I want you to remember and keep repeating that. It's important. And people say to me, well, I haven't got any friends. Well, what have you done about it? When I moved here, how many of you heard me say, I need to make a concerted effort to go out and meet the community here? How many of you heard me say that? And how many of you have noticed that that's what I've done? I've just noticed that, for example, I've got a problem with my new TV. and that is there's a lag on it. And we all know about lag because we've had it here. But I've got a lag on the television. That's not so much fun. And so what I've got the guys coming in to see, because I'm totally confused on my old computer with my old box that controls it, no lag. The new computer and the old television with the old box, no lag. The new television with the new fancy box, with Roku, lag suddenly. And it wasn't when they got it all working, it wasn't lag, and now it is. So that confuses me because it's not the signal. If it were the signal, surely it would be on both, and it isn't. And therefore, it could be the box or it could be the television. Anyway, so they're sending somebody. The reason I'm telling you this is because I realize that they're sending somebody on Monday afternoon, and I'm going, I need to change that appointment because Monday afternoon is the craft group, and I need to keep going to that until I have got, all those names right, and, I've helped them as much as I can. So I'm going to change that appointment because I can. So here are a couple of clues for you as well. I know that you know some of these things, and hopefully you know all of them. But here in this time of Lent, when we're trying to be better people in some way, by the way, have any of you given up anything for Lent? I am really going to work very hard over Lent at giving up criticism and judgments. Now, I'm getting better at not doing them anyway, but it's like a concerted effort, and I'm also more accountable. I'm working really hard at being more accountable. For example, Jody was making a comment about the fact I'd got a decent amount of sleep. And I said, yeah, well, blame it on the fancy new TV with Roku. And then I immediately typed, let me rephrase that. Blame it on my lack of discipline around the new TV with Roku. You see, it's not the TV, it's me that I don't turn it off. And so Jody is giving up coffee and excuses. Yeah, it's amazing when you give up excuses. Oh, Jilly's doing the opposite. Jilly is doing things for Lent. Right. What a great concept. Jilly is saying, no, I am doing stuff for Lent. Nice things. Boy, that will pay you in dividends, Jilly. What a great idea. Why didn't I think of that one? All right, so here we go. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. How many of you are learning that lesson? Don't get involved in arguments. Now, again, there is a difference between an argument and a healthy debate. In other words, I encourage people to have different points of view because it's always interesting to hear different people's points of view. An argument is when we take it personally and we start fighting each other. Agreed? So you will remember, some of you who are old school DearMamaSal followers, that we had that one broadcast way back when we ended up quite by accident with 7 different religions in the room. We had we had an atheist, so lack of religion. We had an atheist. We had a Satanist. We had a Methodist, a born again Christian. We had a a Jewish person. We had, anyway, I think it was 6 or 7 different religions. Seventh-day Adventist. That was I can see her. Who was? I'll think of her name. Anyway, a Catholic, yes, definitely a Catholic, Jody. But it was an amazing 2 hours because we gave everybody a chance to talk about why they followed the religion they did. And I said, if anybody fights the person's belief system, I will nuke you out of the broadcast. This is about, let's find out why people follow the faith that they do. I think I had a Muslim in there as well. All right, so the thing was, we all learned something, right? It wasn't an argument. It was different people with different perspectives and different reasons for following their different religions. And it was amazing to me. And I still, consider it one of the best broadcasts we ever did. How many of you know that if you want to keep friends and make them, it's a good idea to show respect for other people's opinions? Now, I struggle with that one every now and then. I've got to be, really accountable on that one. I do struggle with that one, but I'm working on it. That's definitely an area that I'm working to improve and improve on, because it's really interesting to me that sometimes I cannot believe that people believe what they believe, and I find it difficult not to show them. All right, so Jody's saying you can express your point of view without getting all embroiled in an argument, and you can actually learn something too. Yes, remember when I was at the coffee club, the woman next to me who is not what you might call technically advanced, said that she thought that the internet was a total waste of time because young people, just don't live anymore because of the internet. Now, guess why? Because they find the internet fascinating. Way more fascinating than their parents, way more fascinating than half their friends, and the games on the internet are more fascinating than outside pushing a ball around or whatever. You see, that's what she objects to, and I understand that. The same as in my generation, it was the television. My generation was never going to grow up educated because they spent their time watching television. Guess what? We learned. And so, you look at it and you go, if you show respect for the other person's point of view, then you can add, as Jody's saying, all right, you can express your point of view without getting embroiled in an argument. That is the trick. Stay away from the argument. So when she said that, inside my eyes are rolling. And I said, wow, that's interesting that you say that. Because I wouldn't be able to help the people that I do if they weren't on the internet, trying to learn more. You see, I honestly believe that the greatest gift that the internet will bring our society worldwide is we will end a lack of education. We will be able to educate the whole world because of the internet. And that excites me. We will no longer have this problem where only the wealthy get educating. Right? And because now people can educate themselves if they want to. I think about all that Nyasha has learned about catheters and things like that. Would she have learned that stuff if we hadn't been, able to assist her with that sort of information? Hi, Jonas. You see, that's what I believe. And so I said, we come from two different schools of thought. And I think we're both probably right on that. Yes, you're right that children spend an awful lot of time watching, the computer screen, but I also know they're spending an awful lot of time. Hi, Linda. and Nicholas, they're spending an awful lot of time learning as well. And, I think the same as television, right? It's like when in my day, when we spent time watching the Idiot Box, it was called. I remember it being called the Idiot Box. But then we had things like PBS and stuff like that where we could learn stuff, the National Geographic programs and stuff like that. And I don't know about you, but I spent quite a bit of time watching those as well. So, all right, how about this one? If you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Now, the thing is that most arguments happen because we insist on being right. Now, the truth is that you can know that you're right and not necessarily push it down somebody's throat. Remember what I said about make sure you watch A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks when that movie goes, I believe it's starting to go digital now. Make sure you watch it and watch it a few times and watch how he deals with people that disagree with his mentality. All right? Because in there is such an incredible lesson in good manners and how to make people feel really special. I'm waiting to be able to watch it a few times so I can take a few more notes, and then I will just, do some more around it. Yeah, Jonas, it is a really important movie to watch. So here's the thing. If you are wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. Yeah, Linda's saying manners cost nothing. And how many of you feel that we are losing good manners? We are losing good manners. Now, I've got to tell you something that I was brought up that good manners say that you will not discuss sex, politics, or religion. That was, if you're in company, don't discuss those three things because it becomes an argument. I think that was always the thing. But, to me, I do actually discuss subjects like that with my friends because I believe that we learn by talking about them. And you will never change your point of view, your perspective, if you don't talk about it. Linda's saying all money, all right? And so, to me, the truck driver said, hello, Salbert. Hello, truck driver. Big hug. So, to me, we do need to talk about them, but maybe not in company that you don't know, right? Make sure that it's with friends, not with strangers, because it does get pretty heated. I know, by the way, that I have decided somebody is a friend when I can talk those subjects with them. And that, that to me is one of my benchmarks. When I can talk those sort of subjects with them, I know that I've got to know them pretty well because I feel safe talking those subjects with them. How many of you like the hello there opening of the broadcast, the actual physical opening? Oh, there you are. Type broadcast, and if so, why? Linda's saying that she actually talks money with her youngest son. Right. Yeah. It's you've got to have a pretty good relationship to be able to talk money. If you think about it, the people you're prepared to discuss your finances, your religion, and your sex life. Not for open company, I don't think. So how many of you liked it when I added this? Oh, there you are. Opening. Because I want you to tell me what it feels like to you. Now, I don't do it all the time. Now, I have somebody who says they like the closing when I close it because they want to know, will I open it again? All right, so Jody's saying it's fun. It has a cozy vibe, like come and sit down, give me, and have coffee with me. Julie's saying she missed the official opening of the doors. Yes, but you know, the point that I want you to understand is it is really important that you understand I did it because I thought it was a friendly way to start. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, there you are. we can start the broadcast now. Now that I found you, I can start the broadcast. And if you can feel that, then, you know, Benji, when he was here, he said, why hadn't I put stuff in this cupboard? And I said, it's my broadcast cupboard. And he said, why do you do your broadcast from a cupboard? And, you know, being Benji, he's saying, you know, would you like a proper, you know, camera to go in, you know, and you know, bless his heart. You know, he always thinking 2 steps ahead. And so, yeah, it's interesting. Linda's saying at a young age, the way that Linda taught her son about money was she gave him a make-believe shopping list, right? And a meal planner and a budget, I would imagine. And he learned the price of things by planning meals and the shopping list. Very clever, Linda. Jilly's saying, I think it's friendly that I'm living in a cupboard for a while. So the lesson here is begin in a friendly way. All right. When you meet somebody, be aware of them. All right. Make sure you've got the eye contact. Make sure you make them feel, not make them feel, make sure they do feel that you genuinely care about meeting them. Linda's saying, oh, I love the cupboard. It's so Sal. Yeah, I thought so too, Linda. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why, but yes, I went, that really amuses me. It amuses me. That's why. How selfish is that? Jonas is saying, it is a mark of an educated man to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. Yes. Thank you. You come up with some great quotes, Jonas. All right, that's going back to it's okay to have a different opinion and you don't have to react to it. You don't have to be right. It is the mark of an educated man or woman to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. I am prepared to listen. I know I don't have to take it on. I know I don't have to agree with it. I can listen because maybe I will learn something from it. Nice one, Jonas, as usual. Now, the other thing is, have you ever heard this business about get the other person saying yes? And the more I learned that when I was in sales, you know, if you can get the other person, if you can ask the questions that will get the person saying yes, it actually involves them a whole lot. How many of you can see the sun streaming into my garden window there? Right? And how many of you can see the flowers that I took from my previous garden and dried, and they will stay with me for as long as they live? By the way, I bought 2 big garbage bags full of them as well, so I can do other things. And how many of you can see we're down to 3 boxes here? What's that? Oh, I got some accounting stuff there, but we're down to 3 boxes. You see, if you're saying yes, then you are involved in the conversation. True? You feel that? You're waiting for the spring countdown. It's very close, isn't it? So you understand, if you're saying, if you're asking people questions, and if I say things like, I wonder if you like the red kettle on the white stove with the black top. And, you know, for some of you, do you want to know how I managed to clean off the huge slab that I have here before I do a broadcast? You see, if you said yes to any of those, then I have involved you in the conversation. Make sense? You see, and that is a skill. Now, what I've decided to do is I've got a paint pen here, a chalk marker. Wait 1 second. Okay. So now, oh, you can't see that. That's a pity. I can hardly see it. Okay, so 1 is that one, 2 is that one, and 3 is that one. Julie's saying sneaky. You know, when I was asking those questions, she says that is sneaky, but yes, she can feel that that does involve her. Now, how many of you saw me write the numbers but couldn't read them and then felt a little bit cheated? I have lost some weight, haven't I? It's amazing. I'm actually starting to get, this is what surprised me. I'm actually starting, I need to find my tape measure because I think I have lost some weight around my waist. I've got almost a shape coming back. I've lost 15 pounds, Linda. Jonas is saying, my girlfriend and I were discussing this recently and how asking questions shows engagement in the discussion. She says she's simply someone who doesn't like to ask questions and I should accept it. Jilly's saying, looking trim, well done. Actually, it's, you know, I still have a stomach that sticks out. You know, I still look a bit pregnant, but I'm working on that. The Turtle Gym will help this. I'm looking forward to this. Linda's saying, yes, but saying it is different. I want to tell you that this top helped. Linda, when I put this top on, I went, wow, that really shows that I have changed shape. You know, a baggy t-shirt doesn't show it, but this does. So thank you, I appreciate it. So how many of you last week when I numbered the boxes and said, choose which one you want me to empty next, felt that was fun? That you felt part of the unpacking process? And I tell you one thing, Linda, I'm going back to where I bought this and I'm going to buy a couple more because it does a lot for my self-esteem. I'm going, yeah, I want a couple more of those. All right, so Jody's saying it was a fun idea. So what I did last week, Linda, is I just marked the boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, and I said, pick a box, people. And, you know, whichever box gets the most votes, I will unpack. And, you know, I unpacked it in like 10 minutes and it was gone. It was wonderful. So I'm going to keep, you know, I'm going to get rid of these 4, one every week for you. And then I will replace it with another 4 that are, you know, on the other side there. And we'll just keep unpacking those boxes. Good night, Julie. Good to see you. And thank you for being here. Why do I think she's in New England somewhere? No. No. Anyway, she'll let me know. In my mid-50s, rain. Nottingham. Why on earth did I have you in New England, not in real England? Well, I don't think I knew that. Nottingham. Wow. All right, so Beth does not want to talk boxes. She said, I'm staring at 1,200 pieces of merchandise in the stockroom after the truck delivered. One box at a time for me too. Yes, I want to tell you, you know what I've done as well, Beth? I don't go crazy on them the way that you do, but I, for example, in the craft room, have opened up the next box. And what I do is every time I walk past, I sort of go, oh, I know where that goes. And I pick it up and go and put it away. I cleared 3 boxes this week just doing that without even noticing it. Okay. Um, Jonas is saying, before my girlfriend's grandmother died, her cousins convinced her to take out all of the $2,000 meant for her education fund before she passed. And when I asked her where the money went, she simply laughed. So she doesn't get to go to school this year. Yeah, isn't that sad? But you know something? Jonas, her choice. She's an adult, right? Her choice. And try not to judge her. That's part of her learning. All right. You are a little ahead in learning that that's not a brilliant idea. I want to tell you something, Jonas. When I got an inheritance, and I did, when I got an inheritance, I actually took a year off. Um, and you know, people looked at me really strangely, and I said, "Well, think about it. I just would like a year to see what it's like to not have to worry about earning money and all that sort of stuff." And I thoroughly enjoyed that year. I didn't waste it. I didn't, go on a cruise around the world or whatever. And I could have done it with the money if I wanted to, but I wanted to know, what does retirement feel like? And I quite liked it. I then invested the money in the house, which I just sold. So, but you know, I really have to say that everybody will do it their way. It's just frustrating, that's all. Why, Jonas? Why is it frustrating to you? It's her money. She can do with it what she wants. You are being judgmental. All right, so he's saying they basically manipulated her grandmother to take the money for themselves. I believe in karma, so therefore don't worry about it. All right, so Jonas is saying we've taken the last 2 years off and we're getting bored of it. Yes, exactly. All right, then that's, so this is the whole thing. You will know that you have grown, Jonas, measurably grown, when you don't tell your girlfriend how to live her life or how to spend her money. When you start treating her like you're her daddy and judgmental of her like that, um, you know, the thing is, when she says, "Oh, I don't have enough money to go to school," you go, "Yeah, but you did." Make it funny. Don't make it judgmental. Yes, and Linda's saying, "Oh, karma, yeah." And if you're really lucky, karma will let you watch. Yeah. Well, to me, it's like I sit with people every week here, Jonas, that do not have the advantages that I have had. And I try very hard not to judge them. You're right, the lady who doesn't understand the power of the internet in a positive way. Sure, it's got some negatives. I don't want to judge that. I want to help her find that. So guess what? She asked me a question the other day, and I said, "Hang on a second, I'll get you that answer immediately." And I just got out my phone and got her the answer. And I said, "I know it's a pain, but it does give you quick answers." you know. And she said, "Thank you." And I said, "It's a pleasure." All right, so that's good. Jonas is saying, I have never told her how to spend her money. I have nothing to do with the issue. It's her cousins that screwed her over. Karma, all right? You think about that. Karma. That is the thing. And why did the cousins screw her over? I thought she made a choice. Let me just see what you said again. I want to make sure I got that right. They basically manipulated her grandmother to take the money for themselves. Oh, happens all the time. Jonas, happens all the time in families. She thought she'd be able to go to school with me this year, and now she can't because they think the idea of her going to school is such a joke. Yep. You see, their judgment. And I would say that, they've done what they've done and they will pay the price for it, Jonas. Let it go. Sorry, I misunderstood the context and I apologize for that. It was meant to be saved for her education. All right, I misunderstood the context and I apologize. So here is the thing. Help her move on and just help her find other ways to raise that money for education. Maybe starting next year. Maybe she works this year to earn the money so she can be there next year. And I know she won't be doing it at the same speed as you, but, do you want her to get an education? And does she want to get one? If so, that would be a really good idea. Linda saying money and families, what a combination. Yeah, I agree. I knowingly cut myself off from 2 family members and a great deal of money because I decided that being manipulated just so that I could get the money, do the right thing so I could get the money wasn't worth it for me. And I just said, no, I don't care if I don't get a cent. It's like, I need to not deal with this. I needed peace of mind. And that's the choice I made. And I have not regretted it. Let the other person feel that the idea was his. Now that one takes a lot of talent. If you're busy chatting and they suddenly come up with a concept that you actually were leaning towards, you were trying to help educate them on something, and they suddenly come up with it, you go, wow, that's awesome that you thought of that. Even though you were trying to get them there. That shows, it will really boost that person's self-esteem. Very good one. And again, all right, so this is Linda's thing. Yeah, my auntie had a huge house, but lived hand to mouth to leave enough. But boy, I wish she had enjoyed her money. Yeah. I've always said that to people, which is, do not save your money for your children. You worked hard for it. Let them earn theirs. You know what I mean? I quite agree with you, Linda, that it's so sad that people do that. Now, I made a conscious choice as well, Linda, which was, do I want to be house rich or not? And the reason I say that is the whole reason that I have moved into this house is so I would have a better lifestyle in terms of available money, income, available, what do you call it? Disposable income. Because if I, it's just like, I just changed the location, I changed the size, I changed everything, downsized everything, so that I would have the equity that was in the other house. I would have some of that available to live off for the rest of my life, or even it probably won't last me the rest of my life. But, at least I know where the money is coming from for the next decade, at least, you know what I mean? And so, but again, the trick is, can I do it and live, pretty frugally, but when I want to spend money, I can. If I have an emergency, I can still, fix the roof or do whatever. That is really the ultimate, I think. So from what we've been talking about today, what lesson came out to you? I mean, we've got more that we can do, but what came out to you as an important thing that you could be working on during this coming month? Hi there, Nyasha. Any update from the doctor that you can put out publicly? If not, I understand. Because what I want us all to be aware of is that if every month you make it a decision that this month I am going to work on being a nicer person, or this month I am going to work, if you took one of these a month, all right, and worked on it. For example, the first one was don't criticize. If you took the month of March and said, in the month of March, I'm not going to criticize, or if I do, I'm going to apologize. That'll be a twofer. Number one, that you're aware of how often you criticize. And number two, that you practice saying, I made a mistake there. I think I was a bit critical on that. Right? And isn't that what Abraham Lincoln used to do? He used to, keep a daytimer type thing. And every week he would pick on a new thing to work on. If you do that, how many of you have known just by taking the time to come visit us at DearMamaSal, you have changed the way you live your life, that you've changed a lot of your thinking? Now, it's not because we forced you to, it is because it has helped. All right, so Linda's saying, oh, bless Sal, you inspire me to reevaluate myself each month. And I can say that honestly, because I reevaluate myself each month too, Linda. And Jody's saying, being a good listener and having an open mind. Important reminders, yes. So, it's just like, and Jonas is saying, always working on listening and understanding perspectives. Keeping an open mind instead of simply jumping to conclusions like I did, and agreeing or disagreeing right off the bat. Yeah. So Jonas, it's like if we all did this at the beginning of every month, that would be really, imagine how much we would grow. And if you guys are interested, I could actually open up a database where we could say what we're working on and what our experiences are. Because I think in terms of when you consciously work on something, it took me a year to work out how to do intermittent fasting. A year. Jody, I've been... And yet, the actual change came when I matched intermittent fasting with good food. All right. The 15 pounds that has gone was the combination of those two. But it doesn't mean that I don't still have good stuff. Right. Jonas. Yeah. Okay. Linda saying, we have a question in my house now, and it's a Salism. Said it before I know. But we asked, what would Sal say or do? Wow, what a compliment. Jonas is saying, everyone deserves to be heard and validated. And validated. Yay, Jonas. No matter their opinion, not to be dismissed or brushed off. There you go. Yes, Tanika has liked the fact that she knows she needs to be the friend that she wants to find. Yeah. Nyasha saying, no problem, sure. The visit was due to my foot problem. My right ankle would pop each time I walk. My birth records came up and he diagnosed me as having congenital club feet. Wow, that is incredible. No wonder you had a problem. Okay, Jody is going to want me to do and does want me to do the countdown before I forget. So let me do that. I'm sure Nash is going to give us a bit more on that. All right, so here we go, people. The countdown. For those of you who don't know, no, that's not the countdown, Sal. Try again. Here we go. Valentine's Day is 11 months and 21 days away. For those of you who have started your Christmas shopping, you've got 300 days left. You've got 9 months and 7 days to get your overseas Christmas cards in the mail. For those of you in the US or anywhere in the world but of US heritage, you have 9 months and 2 days until Thanksgiving. And of course, for those of us north of the American border who are in Canada, we just have 7 months and 16 days until our Thanksgiving, because ours is in October. For those of you who celebrate Easter, you already know, because it's Lent, that you have 1 month and 13 days left until Easter. Spring is just 20 days away. Bye-bye, Chloe. Thank you. All right. Daylight savings time is next Sunday. Not this Sunday coming, but the one afterwards. So close. All right, we've done Lent. We're in the middle of Lent. By the way, have any of you noticed that some funny things have been happening? I had reason yesterday to find 2 things that I wanted to blame on Mercury being in retrograde. You know, whenever Mercury is in retrograde, which it is at the moment, or anything that goes wrong, I blame it on that. Okay. So there we go. And let me see what people have said here. All right, so Nyasha's saying she was actually born with her feet turned inward. But the thing is, they never got treated. So now I'm going to be fitted for insoles, custom made. I'm so happy because of it all. You know, Nyasha, I was saying that I believe that the internet has helped you look after yourself medically. All right. I do believe that you are taking better care of yourself and asking the doctor better questions because we have helped you understand that you're an adult, you're entitled to know these things. Would that be true? And Linda's saying, oh, that spring bit makes me think of you every time. Yeah, it does me as well. But I do understand that, you know, some of my viewers are in the Southern Hemisphere, which means they're kicking out of summer and about to hit fall. But we are into spring. Niash is saying my childhood illnesses are now being diagnosed, but I'm still angry because my parents didn't take the time to inquire and find out what was wrong before. You know something? Forgive them. Forgive them if you possibly can, and just do the best you can to look after yourself. Linda's saying, you made me ask the right questions too, so I don't think I made you. I might have suggested it, Linda, but I couldn't make you do anything. But I am so happy that you did start asking the right questions. I know that when I go to the doctor, I ask very, when I know that I'm not getting the answers I need, I will go, I will say things like, please humor me. We know that I've got this, and this happening. What else could it be? I'm not saying I've got it. I'm not trying to be a hypochondriac, but what other things have those symptoms attached to them that maybe we haven't checked yet? All right. And, that to me is me looking after me. I think any of you who have been through chronic illness, Jody, and the rest of you who know about chronic illness, you will know that you have to be your own best advocate. All right. Doctors try to help give us enough time and information, but we really do need to look after ourselves. Linda say, and who is Sal? Well, Linda, you heard when I was doing, I've got to retell this story because it is funny. I was doing a big seminar in downtown Vancouver about, oh, must have been quite a while ago. But anyway, it was a full day seminar. And I got up to speak, and I used to ask people, why are you in the room? Because, people have different reasons for coming to listen to me speak. And this one guy put up his hand, and I said, yes, sir. And why are you here? He said, I'm here because I'm fed up of hearing in my meetings, well, you know what Sal would say. And I said, really? And he said, yes, it doesn't matter what the topic is. Almost every meeting, somebody will laugh and go, well, you know what Sal would say. And so I've come to find out, but I won't be staying long. And I said, okay, fine. Anyway, so I start, doing my stuff, and we're working on stuff, and, it gets to the break. And when we get to the break, everybody sits down and he's still there. And I'm going, He stayed the whole day, even though he said he wasn't going to be staying long. He stayed the whole day. And the funniest thing was the next day or two, it was either the next day or the day after, he phoned me. And he was crying with laughter. He actually had difficulty telling me the story because he was laughing so much. I said, take a breath and tell me what you're trying to tell me. He said, guess what my wife said to me? Who is this Sal person? And he said, because I kept saying, well, you know what Sal would say. Jonas, that's not a bad idea. You think I should do that? Hang on a second, Jonas. When I went to VidCon and things, I had a T-shirt made up. Which I thought was really quite clever in terms of viewers following different people. So, but I think, what Sal would say? Yeah, if you do. Yeah. So, Nyasha, we were talking about how to make friends. And so I'm really delighted that you got out to go to the doctor. Who took you to the doctor? There's a reason why I'm asking you, Nyasha. Wow. Linda's saying, my sons, especially Nick, say, Sal would say, da 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 da. And so she's saying, you have helped me so much. Words are not enough, but I'm here if you need it paying back. It's awesome. Yeah. Something, Nyasha, I still believe that your parents did the best they could. They probably live with some sort of notion that if they didn't deal with the things, it would go away. You know what I mean? Some people just can't handle that sort of stuff. And so blaming them for not being able to handle it is not going to help you. Getting something done about it might help you a bit. I am delighted that some of you have listened enough that it's helped change your lives. All right. So Nyasha, bless your heart. How about this for honesty? She said, I know that they're trying their best, but I'm still angry somehow. Do you know, Nyasha, you're looking at somebody who used to be pretty angry. And then what I found out is being angry doesn't help me. Being angry doesn't change what happened. Being angry doesn't make me a nice person. Yeah, it makes me a bitter, horrid person. Being angry doesn't bring out the best in me. Why didn't they help you before? Because they didn't help you before. They probably didn't know how. They probably thought that, it would bring some just, I don't know why. I can't answer why your parents didn't do that, but the truth is they didn't. And, I just ask you to, in your own time, Nyasha, to work on letting go of that anger. Because the faster you can let go of the anger, the happier you're going to be. It's like it is what it is. All right. Why did people abuse me? I don't know. But the truth is, I now know that being angry at them isn't going to change it. It still happened. I can see that I didn't know enough to protect myself. And I can be angry at my parents for not protecting me or whatever. But that doesn't change a thing. The truth is, it happened. Let me move on with my life. I also believe, Nyasha, and I have that faith. I believe that everything that has happened like that in my life has brought me to be the person I am today. So if you have any faith at all, you need to understand at some level that you have been given this life to and it was literally that it is all part of the pattern, that your learning will be greatly improved because of the life you have lived. You will be able to help others more because of the life that you have lived. And I truly believe that, and that's what keeps me going. I can stand up and say me too in the Me Too movement because now I understand why people are saying that, right? Because I can literally relate to it. And so, it's not something I'm proud of. It's something that's a reality. I don't have to hate the people. I have to just move on with my life. All right, so Nasha's saying, my mom told me that when I was a baby, the doctors told her to let me wear a brace. But because the doctor didn't stress on the brace, they didn't do it. But now they're doing it. You see, now they understand better. Now they understand what they didn't do. Being angry is not going to change it at all. Being thankful to them for allowing you to have it now is the way to go. Thank you so much for understanding why I need it. And let's hope it's not too late. You know what I mean? Um, and by the way, Nyasha, you are doing a great job. I'm certain every one of my viewers that has watched your journey will feel the same way. Right. And sure, if this had happened when you were a child, life would have been better for you, but it didn't happen, and you are still a great person. That is what you need to understand, that it didn't happen, but it's happening now, and now is probably the time that you need it, all right, in a different way. I just believe that these things have a reason. So I would ask you for Lent to really work on letting go of your anger. And there are people here that are viewers, Nyasha, that understand anger. And they, I'm pretty sure, will all tell you that learning to let it go is probably the greatest freedom they ever felt. All right? You've got better things to do with your time. You've got way better things to do with your time. All right, so the doctor says that at age 35 it might be, but he's still going to try it. Be grateful for that. Thank him. Keep thanking him and ask him not to give up on you. All right? That is the way to go. Well done, Yasha. I'm so proud of you. What I want to do. All right, so Linda's saying, my son is but I don't know all the answers, but that doesn't make me to be a bad mom. Thank you, Sal. Would not have believed that 5 years ago. So proud of you, Linda. Hugs to Niasha. I made it home, guys. This has been so good. Thanks. It's a pleasure, Tanika. I'm glad it is of value. You see, I think that's what we're all doing all of the time. Every week we are improving our skills because we keep finding topics to talk about that will improve our skills. And I want to thank you all for caring enough about your lives to be here. And, sometimes we hear the same thing over, but that's like the 2 times table. If we hear it enough times, it will sink in. That is the core of it. If you can understand it the first time, if you can hear it the second time and go, she said that before, and third time and fourth time. Because the truth is, the way that we learn, the way that it starts to change our brain is the number of times we hear it. All right? And so, and the fact that we understand why it works, I believe helps. Niasha, you are not only trying your best, we are literally watching you change your life week by week. When I don't know how long you've been a viewer, but I do know that when I look at who you were when you first started to be a viewer and what you have done to help yourself since then, that, it is amazing. It's like watching the change in Jody or Linda or any of you that have been working on yourselves. You see, it does show. It's like, it took me a year of not understanding food before I lost 15 pounds. All right. Now I understand the combination of foods. Hey, I had fish and chips yesterday. All right. And I still kept within my blood sugar allowance. I had fish and chips and tomato ketchup. All right. So Linda's saying, you taught me, Sal, to listen to my mind and ask my own questions when those questions arise. That is so true. If you understand that your mind is trying to protect you and it's trying to help you, even though it may be negative, sometimes it turns out that the underlying thing is very positive. And Niasha saying, thanks to Sal, she helped me find my voice. And I mean, I had it all along, but I finally found the drive and the motivation to talk to my parents about my health. When she hit me with that 2x4, that opened my eyes. You see, it's not all criticism, is it? When the reason I say to people, I need to hit you with a 2x4, do I have your permission? It is because sometimes you just haven't seen what is right in front of you. And I remember Beth saying that when I hit her with that 2x4, that she got it big time and started to change the way she was eating. It's not that I'm right. It's like I've been there. And Jody's saying, I have tears and I'm not afraid to admit it. Yeah. Nyasha, you are an inspiration. Topper is what they teach you in being a speaker. Nyasha, you are an inspiration and you will continue to be. Keep doing the work. I am now going to go and enjoy my afternoon. As you can probably see, the sun is out in Sunshine Cottage. And I'm going to go for a walk and enjoy the sunshine. And Sandy's saying, thank you, Sal. I can't wait for the next broadcast. I can feel myself growing from just listening. We all grow, Sandy, by the fact that you're here. And Linda's saying, I get it, Nyasha, totally. And boy, the 2x4 hurts, but it's so necessary, and I appreciated it. Yeah. And you know something, Linda? You were one of the scariest stories that I ever told. When I tell people about meaningful moments in Dear Mama Sal, when I tell the Linda story, what was happening to you, I cry because it was just like, how scary was that? All right, and yes, you're saying, and also how to fix my issues for the greater good for myself. I am so grateful to you. It helped me. You helped me. I think I was stuck in that depression frame of mind, and now I'm out totally. Yeah, that's your choice. You see, you made the choice. Thank you for being here with us today, says Jody. Such a pleasure to have your company. Isn't that true? And Jonas says, enjoy your walk, Sal. Thank you, Jonas. Oh, yeah. Okay. Scared. Yeah, Linda, I was scared. I am thankful and grateful, Linda. So, all of you, I am thankful and grateful to you because if you were not here with me, we wouldn't get the subjects that we do. We wouldn't have the moments together. Tonight, we're going to talk some fun things around this, thanks to some work that Jody did on finding some fun quotes for us. So, look forward to tonight's extended edition of this, but on the funny side. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, remember to look after one another. But as we know, continue to learn the skills, all right, that help you help yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, thank you so much for being here. And really, are you ready? Bye bye for now.